Full of crap.
Now we're live.
Now-
Good morning,
being
everyone.
honest.
It's I, the notorious, glorious V, the Guerrilla Economist. Check me out, RogueNews.com. Rogue News on every single podcasting app known to humanity. And Rogue News on Twitter at Real Rogue News. You can follow us there. And also check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com. And the Watchers Trade Room, folks. The Watchers Trade Room. Check it out. WatchersTrade.io. You want to learn on how to get involved in this whole entire thing called the markets. Talk about making money. WatchersTrade.io is the place to be. And we got a special webinar today. We're going to have Frank and Dex on. I'm going to be talking about it real quick. But we're going to be covering the news. But before I do that, gentlemen, what's going on? How are you guys this morning?
Hey, man.
I'm all right.
I'm good. I'm excited. As Dex likes to say, I got green on my screen.
You got green on your screen, baby.
I'm
That's
just
what it's all about.
exhausted because
I'm
I've been
You ain't red
swimming.
and dead. You got
It's 'cause-
green on the screen.
It's because of all Dex's hard work. I just sit there. I push a couple buttons. Yeah, I've got a few good Forex trades going. I've got some
You
good.
mean tell
got-
me that
I got-
you don't sit there and like watch the 1 minute chart.
I do because I'm nuts.
You're not a real trader unless you watch the 1 second chart.
The ones I actually last night the NZD crashed, the New Zealand dollar, and I was actually looking at the 5-second chart because we figured out it had this enormous red candle. Everybody in the room was freaking out. It actually happened in 1 minute. You saw that last night, Dex? And
Yeah.
Did you look at that?
Nope.
Yeah,
I was trapped in Gitmo. I spent all night swimming back to the U.S.
So while you were swimming back to the U.S., the New Zealand
I was
dollar,
on an alien spaceship getting probed.
God, you guys are so annoying. The New Zealand dollar crashed, and that whole giant crash candle actually happened in 1 minute. So
Crash candles. I love
it was pretty amazing. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. So the webinar you're talking about is this Friday, and we're actually talking about risk this week. So we've got an awesome
Talking about
one.
risk.
Yeah, mastering risk, how to eliminate fear and maximize gains in trading. So here's the thing, just a quick preview. There are a lot of people listening right now. I guarantee it, because I talk to people every week who listen to Rogue News. They listen to our friends on other channels who are partnered with us in various ways. And they think, oh, I want to get into that room. Oh, I want to get some funding. Oh, I want to set myself up with asset protection. And they just think about it all the time. And they've got questions and they're nervous about pulling the trigger on this stuff. So we're going to talk about how if you just follow the right system, which is pretty simple in the end, it's straightforward. You just follow the right system and take that leap and get yourself funded and get yourself trading, or don't get yourself funding and get yourself trading. Doesn't matter. Either way, we're going to tell you how to eliminate fear, maximize gains, and master risk. So that's this Friday. The link is in the description. We have a lot of fun. Honestly, this is some of the most fun stuff we do all week. And you're in there with me and Dex and V, and you can ask us questions, and people really, really like it. So we're having fun with it. So check that out. Just register. It's free. We take about an hour on a Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So register for that. And man, you'll be there with a lot of other people like you, and we have a lot of fun. So check it out. In the description. But we're talking about these wacky markets today. What's our title? You had a great title for this show.
It's called the title is When in Rome, do as the Romans do. It's called Market Jitters, Bond Crash, and LIRA Smash, baby, equals DOW29K. You know, there's a lot of fear going on.
I like it.
I mean, I love it because here's the deal. This is what I've been talking about this. My man Dex has been talking about this from day one. Folks, when you look at the chaos that's happening out in the world, you got to understand. Look, when everybody was crying, oh, the sky is falling. When everybody was screaming, everybody's telling you March 21, the world's going to end. Market's going to die to 5,000 points. And then they keep moving. It goes from March 20-something of 2018, and it goes move to October of 2018. And then December when the market was going up and down, and then January of 2019 when it was all going up and down, topsy-turvy. I said, listen, people, listen, calm down. Calm the heck down, because the real deal is we're going to have the best January in market history. And lo and behold, after all the doom-saying, all of this stuff, what happened? We had the best January in market history. And I said, listen, here's the deal. I've been saying it. Dex has been saying it. you're going to see a massive run up. Why? Dow 29,000, baby. Market jitters, bond crash, LIRA smash, don't matter. Dow 29K is coming because this is what the whole entire game is about. Because we're not looking at the fundamentals. We're not looking at. There's nothing fundamental about. I'm talking about in a real physical sense of what this market is. Nobody out there doing real price discovery.
What fundamentals, right?
Exactly. So the whole thing here, folks, is understanding what the algos are doing, what the algos are saying, and moving to the beat of that drum. Because once you have a pulse, a finger on the pulse, like the pulse wave has, with that Dex is developed, then you kind of know where it's going. So when you have, let's just say, like that masterfully called Boeing stock crash, 4 days out before the stock plummeted. Before the stock plummeted, if you were in the trading room, you got crash alerts. Mm-hmm. Guess what happened? You got out, and you made a crap load of money on the way down. You see, we're not trying to fight the system. We're trying to pickpocket the system. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to beat the system. We're trying to work around it. Folks, my entire life, people say, V, why are you a guerrilla economist? Why you use the word guerrilla? Are you an ape? No, guerrilla as in freedom fighter. Guerrilla as in using tactics, using loopholes, finding creative ways to beat the snot out of the system. I'm not talking about breaking laws here, folks. I'm talking about shattering the rules. I'm not talking about breaking laws that'll land you in the slammer and in jail. I'm talking about exploiting to the max every loophole, every ambiguous regulation out there, and to do it cunningly. There's an old proverb in the Bible that says, be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. Now, you can read a lot into that. Serpents, reptilian, you name it, whatever, right? There's a lot you can read into it. But I want you to think about that at the level. You have to be, think about it. You got the evil one, right? You got all those Luciferians out there who have the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller. We could go on and on with that stuff. Who created the markets? Who's basically it's their markets. All we're doing is like, yeah, you guys have this, but we're going to utilize systems to take from you. We're going to utilize systems to exploit you. We're going to come out with methods to spoil your gains in order to profit, that we may take care of us, our communities, and our families. That's what this whole entire game is about. And folks, if you look at the headlines, right? I was skimming the headlines, and the headlines is like, oh my God, the global stocks, U.S. future slide as interest rates resume plunge. Monday's recession off optimism lasted just a day. What it is now they're saying, oh look, Monday. If you're going by the headlines, most people will literally put on their pooping pants, right? They put on their pooping pants on, and they're ready to poop. And they're going to get on, and they're going to get on their favorite shows on YouTube, their favorite channels and podcasts, and listen to all sorts of wonderful fear porn that just reaffirms you to think and operate in a lower frequency for the entire day. So who's doing whose work there when you think about it, right? Whose work are you doing if you're operating in a lower fear frequency? That's not positive. It ain't godlike, right? Whose work are you really doing if you're just, oh man, I like listening to this guy because he just scares the shit out of me every single day?
Yeah.
Come on.
I was going to ask you about this. We had amazing news this week, and I was listening to some of our friends, and I was telling you before, like, man, it's stressful. Like, we've had incredible news, and the weird thing is everybody still interprets winning into us eating cat food soon.
I know.
It's weird. It's like, yeah, Trump's going to go after the deep state, and then all hell's going to break loose. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just too. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I just think if we start to tear apart the corruption, doesn't that benefit us? Won't that help? I understand that there are forces that want to pull the trigger on messing this whole thing up if it's not going their way, but I don't know. It's kind of like we're taught to think that way by a lot of people, but I think it's counterintuitive. If we're winning, we're winning, and winning is good.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, folks, if we got,
also real quick, I've never bought for a second. Well, maybe for a second. I've never bought for a second that Trump is so idealistic that he wants to blow up the whole system so he can rebuild it again. I don't see that in him. I see a lot of things in Trump. I don't see that in him at all.
No.
I don't see a guy who's executing some 5-level chess who's going to blow up the system so he could rebuild it. I see a guy who just wants prosperity, wants it now. He'll use whatever system's in place. He's not an ideologue, just wants success. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, don't be an ideologue. That's the other thing. Don't be an ideologue. Be pragmatic, man. And my whole thing is this: it's like what Trump's given us ultimately at the end of the day, we got maybe 4 or 5 years to make as much coin as possible. When you get up in the morning, and look, I'm not trying to sound like some sort of a prosperity preacher. Those guys are all a bunch of wackadoos anyway.
Preach it.
That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, your number one thing after, like, you say your prayers, your meditations, whatever the heck it is you do. Maybe you stand upside down, you stand on your head and you smoke marijuana and chanting the alphabet backwards. Maybe that's your thing. But whatever the heck it is in the morning while taking a coffee enema hot, upside down, whatever it is that gets you going in the morning, that gets you set up for the day, affirmations or whatever. Your number one goal, your number one reason for breathing is to amass as much wealth as possible. And that to a lot of people turns them off. That to a lot of people's like, what is wrong with you? Are you some sort of greedy? No. You see, I don't love money. I can give a rat's rear end about money. I can care less. Dex could care less. Frank could care less. None of us here love or care about money. We really don't. But what we do love is the options and the freedoms that it provides for us in our life. Money's like oxygen, folks. You don't realize it until it's gone, and then you can't breathe. Okay? Money's like oxygen. You don't realize how necessary it is until it's gone, and then you can't breathe. And no other and logging on to conspiratard radio and conspiratard websites is not gonna help your situation. You got to come down to a reality. Either you're gonna learn how this world really works, and not just sit on the sidelines and be enthralled by the salaciousness of the whole entire thing, but you're going to learn how the world works and say to yourself, okay, all right, this is the system, this is the world, this is how it works. F it. I'm going to make as much money as possible and prosper my family through the storm so that I can get them out of the storm, so I can put them in a better position. Look, if we all got to go through the storm, I'm telling you right now, I'd rather be in the Queen Mary than a rowboat. If you got to go through the eye of a storm, I'd rather be on the Queen Mary than in a rowboat. It's the way it is.
Good point. I think I'd rather be on that too.
Yeah, man.
The other question is, can you fit in a rowboat?
I don't know, man.
It's Michael Scott's question. Never mind.
That is a good question.
Some Office fans out there are dying right now. Does she fit in a rowboat? That's all I want to know. Answer the question.
But that's what it is. I mean, people are like, global stocks and future slide as interest rates resume the plunge. I want you to think about how stupid this is. What does it mean? How do you interpret, something like this? I'm going to show you guys something real quick, right? I'm going to show you something real quick. And I'm going to have Dex and Frank comment as well on this, right? Global stocks and futures slide as interest rates resume plunge. I mean, think about it. You've had a major victory with this Mueller thing. So you got to understand what's really happening. The rest of the world, in terms of trade, because the European Union is like, well, America, we don't want to set up any sort of trade agreements with you because we don't know if your president's going to be president next month. We don't know if he's going to get hauled off and impeached. We don't know that. And China's been dragging their foot on the trade. They're like, why would we want to set up a trade deal with you? You might not even be here in the next 6 months. Why would we want to do anything with you?
Wow.
You might not make it in 2020.
Do you think they were taking it that seriously?
Say again?
Do you think they were taking it that seriously?
Of course they were.
Wow.
Of course they were. This has messed up so many things.
How come I knew this was garbage 2 years ago?
Right now, I had a wonderful conversation. I had one of my guys in on the West Coast in Cali who's had an opportunity to go to the agency but turned it down. But he is connected to a lot of quote unquote operators. I'll leave it at that. And then had W on the other end. So we had a 3-way conference call. These two guys were like talking like a bunch of good old school boys from God knows when. And just rapping about this guy. It's just the craziest thing in the world. They know similar organizations, this, that, and the other. It's craziness. And I'm just sitting there muted, listening to this whole thing while working. And you would not believe, folks. Here's what's really going on. Look, on the surface, it looks like Russia and China, Russia and the U.S. and China are looking at the U.S. situation like in a warlike stance, and that's what it looks like to a lot of people. But the reality is there's a lot of operational communication that happens underneath the cover, so to speak. So things don't, so they're working cohesively with quote unquote the good guys, for lack of a better word, in this country that don't want to see this country flushed down the toilet and destroyed. But at the same time, there is a military preparedness and readiness both on China and Russia, just in case. This is a fact. This is a conversation I was having, and I was listening. I was eavesdropping on their conversation as a guest, listening to these two guys talk. And one of the things that was said is that you got to understand, it's like, you know, these guys, I'm talking about, you know, the Russians and the Chinese, they were ready just in case, and this is what was said, just in case the revolt, just in case the operation against the deep state failed, and the bad guys had no other option but to just blow up the whole world, the Russians and the Chinese were ready to take out our nukes. And this is the word used. They were prepared to take out our birds before they even launched. They were prepared to sink our boomers before they even got to the target locations. So this is all like, you know, military jargon and talk. They were prepared to take out our birds on the launch pads, meaning our ICBMs, our nuclear missiles. They're willing to take out our boomers before they got into position. That means our submarines. They're willing to do that because that's the only way to save the damn world, right? Just in case the bad guys took over. So it was in this situation that we had to have the Mueller report done. And now you're going to see a lot of stuff come out. You're going to see an absolute going after the Clinton Foundation, going after a lot of these quote unquote, for lack of a better word, deep staters. So the whole world now, think about it. We have this news. You got this Mueller report off. It's a huge failure. Everywhere you look, it's like these far leftist nut jobs are failing left and right on a grand scale. There's a reason for that. Globalism failing at a massive scale. Dude, the yellow vest ain't going away in France, and there's not a lot of news reporting here in this country.
Yeah,
If I talk to like Harley, who's in Germany, lives there, who speaks with the prime ministers, who's close with the Italian government, that they're revolting against the euro. The whole entire European project is falling apart. So you're looking at this whole entire thing, and you might say to yourself, "Look, the market's pulling back." No, the market's pulling back now because again they are rejiggering the market for a massive run up. Because look, you got 4 or 5 years of the biggest economic boom you're about to see market wise. And I'm telling you right now, guys, you're going to see markets moving. You're going to see commodities moving. You're going to see gold moving. You're going to see cryptocurrencies moving. You're going to even see the freaking bond market even starting to move at an incredible rate. Everybody's chasing the yield at this point. That's what we're going to see. Dex, what's your thoughts?
Well, for the most part, what I see it as is every time the talking heads say, collapse this and collapse that, bond prices are going higher. The futures are laughing at everyone because the bonds this morning hit $1.50, 150.
Yep.
All right. We were, in jeopardy of dropping into the mid 130s a while ago, and now here we are back up to 150. So bond prices are just rallying and strengthening, and the stock market is at a standstill because of all this back and forth trade war, this trade war, that, tariff this, tariff that, and it's just a mess underneath all of this because your retails are just struggling and going out of business and closing stores right and left and taking their jobs away right along with it. So underneath all of this, we have a struggling economy, but the long and short of it is the markets, though, are doing just fine. It's just like I told everyone, the higher the Dow goes, the worse it is for the average man on the street. All right. The poor are going to be crushed under the weight of all of this. And so is the middle class. The middle class is almost dead and gone.
Yeah.
All right. So the gap between rich and poor is widening. And that's why you're getting this enormous call to socialism. because those who have been underachievers all their lives, those that have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Lazy, refusing to learn trades
Spectators,
and
man.
work.
Spectators.
Yeah, and not really being a part of life, committing crimes, going back and forth to jail, having babies out of wedlock, all kinds of stuff happening, right?
Mhm.
Just partying and wasting their life away. And now they have to live with their choices later on in life, not understanding that the choices that they made all but guaranteed them a life of poverty.
Mm.
And so now they're saying, hey, it's not fair that everyone that I went to school with is doing better than me and I'm not. Yeah, but you're the one that made those poor choices and decisions, and now you have to live
Yeah.
with it. And they're saying that's not fair. Everybody should be equal. There's no such thing as equality because all of us are not equal. All right. I'm not equal to Michael Jordan on the basketball court. So what are you going to do? Chop his legs off so he can be the same height as me?
That's
And now
exactly
say now we
what
have
they would do.
equality?
That's
No.
exactly what they would do.
So what
Yeah,
they want to
that's-
do is
that-
they want to take from you and I and give it to the lazy slackers so that we could have what they call equality. It's not equality, it's theft. They want to stick us up and rob and take from us to give it to them. That's what socialism is. Socialism is people coming with pitchforks, knives, and machetes to your house, demanding you come outside with all the money in your pocket and disperse it between them. Or they're going to come in your house and they're going to chop you up. That's what socialism is. And that's what people are begging for because why? They're ignorant. Only ignorant, uneducated, uninformed people will be calling for socialism over capitalism.
Yeah.
What, do you not see all the socialist countries around you? You have right here the evidence of that logic staring you in the face every day. But for some odd reason, they don't see it or they dismiss it, which is really the height of folly. Not only that, but they have history showing them what socialism has done in the past, which is reap unmitigated destruction across the globe to every country that practiced it. So that's what you want. That's what you're saying you want. You want this universal income. You want all these quote unquote entitlements. That's no different than the story of the grasshopper and the ants. The grasshopper thought that the world owed him a living. And so during the summer, he played and danced while the ants was working night and day, sun up and sun down. And then when the winter came, the quote from the Game of Thrones, winter is coming.
Mm.
When winter came, the grasshopper froze to death. He had to reap the end result of his choices. And that's what life is about. Life is about choices and the consequences of those choices. All right. That's what this is about. And that's what you're seeing that is being reaped right now. And to jump ahead even to our foreign policy, what have we done overseas for the last several decades? We've been going over there. We've been toppling governments, assassinating elected officials, installing puppets who will do what the pharmaceutical complex or the industrial military complex wants. And then we say, why is everyone mad at us? Why do you think everyone's mad at you? You have raped and pillaged all over the earth to the point where we're not even called the U.S. anymore. We're called the Great Satan or the Whore of Babylon, as mentioned in the book of Revelation in the Bible. So that's what we have reaped because of all that we have done as a nation. Therefore, don't think it's strange that the collapse that everyone is talking about, they're right, but they're wrong about what collapse it is. It's not a collapse of economics and finance, it's a collapse of moral. It's a moral decay. It's the collapse of the family. It is failure to put two sentences together. We have a whole society now filled of people who don't know how to think, who can't think, who don't know how to use logic. All right. They don't know how to come up with an idea of their own. They don't know how to discern things. They don't know how to even read and write properly. All right, because of the dumbing down of our educational system. And I don't just mean the free public schools, I mean the college and universities as well. All right. Instead of teaching how to think, they teach you foolishness like the green agenda. They teach you stupid things, degrees in foolishness. That's why America lags other countries in science and technology. All right. We barely have anybody, graduating, with science and mathematic degrees. All their degrees are in foolishness. And
I have a
so
degree in gay art therapy. How dare you discriminate
exactly,
against me?
exactly.
You racist homophobe.
I can't remember the last time I had a young person tell me they were majoring in something useful. It's brutal.
No, it's all stupid BS, man. It's
Yeah.
dumb. I think, look, college is a racket. Unless you're going for medicine, engineering, you're going into one of these STEM fields, there's no reason for you to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Zero reason. I'm going to go and become a gay art therapist.
I was talking to my 11-year-old son in the car on the way to school. I was like, I'm going to teach you how to trade so you never have to work. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good, Dad. He's like, he said to me, he's like, I really can't imagine like sitting in an office all day. I'm like, yeah, me either.
Yeah, look, man, you're either going to build your dreams or you're going to build somebody else's. That's the bottom line.
With what you were saying, Dex, it's this. I mean, many people have said this before. They're not even looking for equality of opportunity. They're looking for equality of outcomes, and that can only be taken by force.
Yep.
And it only works. It only works even a little bit for a short time because, as someone once said, eventually you run out of other people's money.
Margaret Thatcher.
And you have this. I don't remember who was saying this, but you have an entire culture that has just lost hope, lost belief in itself, that no longer believes it's possible to succeed. It's a depressed culture, and it's like people who believe they can actually make something in their lives are becoming outliers, and it's up to us to and all of us and listeners, all of us, to herald that message.
Correct. That
you can work hard, that there still is enough left of to America that you can make things happen. You might have to become a little bit of an outlaw to do it, but you can make it happen.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't have to stay in your station in life.
No, never.
All right. No one, you are not predestined, to be poor and naked in the street.
Preach that.
All right. That is no such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Many people have overcome ridiculously, almost seemingly impossible situations and scenarios to go on to become successful.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to look at the reality of not overcoming situations.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, if you do nothing, you will stay where you are.
Yep.
So, and people like to say that, I'm negative, I'm pessimistic, things of that nature.
Nah.
But the only reason they say that is because they know that the information that I'm giving them is solid. And I think they realize that it's too late and that the handwriting is on the wall and that certain things that are in play now, they did have an opportunity to do something about it and chose to look the other way. Don't get me started on that, because I'll just say this. What happened to the Tea Party?
Mm-hmm.
They got infiltrated. All right. The same people that we're talking about now, the powers that be, infiltrated that movement, took it over, and then dismantled it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even hear that name mentioned anymore. It has no power. It's a lion without teeth. And that's all they needed to do.
Yep.
They dismantled it. That's what our, government does, is that any type of rising up from the people, they have tools in place to just destroy it before it even gets off the ground, because they know how the people think. Want to know why they know how the people think? Because they are the ones that taught you to think that way.
Yeah.
So you have years of programming that you need to be deprogrammed from, and deprogramming someone is almost nearly impossible. It's hard. All right. Look at the Matrix. Look how long it took Neo to finally understand and break his programming. It was almost impossible. He was like a lost cause. All right. That's how hard it is to break programming. You spend 12 years in public schools being propagandized to 8 hours a day, and then you go to university where they take the programming to a whole nother level, where thought is banned outright. You're not allowed to have a private thought. You're taught to go along with the Borg. You go along to get along.
Yeah.
Your professor's not looking for, intelligent thought processes. They're looking for you to regurgitate their information back to them. That's it. That's not learning. Memorization is not learning. All right. If you challenge them, you will be destroyed and you will not graduate. You have to repeat to them everything that they say as if it is a fact, which in fact is not a fact. But that's how this world has structured itself. And the West is that intelligence is if you can toe the line. Yeah. Just look at the outrage people had for, celebrities that voted for Trump. Some of them almost got decapitated, man.
Yep.
Because they didn't toe the status line. They said, nope, I have an independent thought. I am disconnecting from the Borg. And it almost cost them their careers.
My daughter she has her earth sciences class, and she would start, they were talking climate change. And she would get up in the beginning of every class and say, I just want to say that this is a lie.
Yep.
It was, and they would just all laugh at everything, and I was like, God, you're an amazing girl. She's just a riot. She wasn't disrespectful. The teacher would laugh at it and stuff. But you're talking about something. You made me think of something when you were talking about the Tea Party, and I think this is true among a lot of libertarian and conservative people. Is you see it all the time with the Republican Party, always snatching victory. Snatching, how do you say it? Who says it? I think it's Rush Limbaugh that says it. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Right? They get so close to getting what they want, and then they cave, they apologize, they compromise. And I think you saw that kind of thing with the Tea Party, and you see that kind of thing in a lot of people's lives. Where we were reading a book recently called The Big Leap, where the author talks about the upper limit problem, and he has this theory.
I recommend everybody get that book. By the way,
you need to get it. You need to get it. And the author has this hypothesis that people suffer from what he calls the upper limit problem. And the idea is I can have a certain level of success, but at some point, my mind is going to tell me you're not allowed to be this happy or this successful or this healthy or this wealthy, and it's going to sabotage me. And he uses examples. In fact, the guy's a liberal himself. He uses the example of Bill Clinton. And he says Clinton was at the top of the world, and he had to sabotage himself. And he calls it an upper limit problem. I think people do this all the time. I was talking to one of our associates the other day was looking to make a move, and I was encouraging him to do it. And he was saying, oh, well, there's this problem and that problem. And I just said to him, hey, I was in a similar situation once. And you know how long it took me to solve that problem once I actually made up my mind to make the change? I was like, it took me about an hour to sit down and make a list and transfer some information to another person. And he was like, oh my God, you're right. Because we create these things in our head that something is so impossible, or there's some barrier that's going to prevent me from getting started. There's some barrier that it's not going to work for me, or I'm going to get in trouble, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And we're afraid to take those next steps. The thing is, if you just start approaching things with an attitude of overcoming one obstacle at a time to get to the goal that you're looking to achieve, you'd be amazed at what you can actually do in your life. And I've watched people, and in all of my various experiences, watched people just stay the same year in, year out, decade after decade. Their relationships don't change or improve. Their career doesn't change or improve. They never make those big leaps that they need to make. They don't believe in themselves enough. They don't believe that that they're able to do it. They don't believe that it's possible for them to break the chains of whatever they're enslaved to at the moment, to make it to that next level where they want to be. And it's just a lie. I mean, you're always going to have successes and failures in life, but if you adopt that attitude that you can overcome one obstacle at a time to get where you need to be, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in your life. And I mean, we see it every day with the people who come to us, people who are looking to make changes, people who are looking to protect themselves, people who are looking to get debts off their back, people who are looking to get all kinds of stuff so that they can get moving. In fact, yesterday I spent a good portion of time with a guy, he great guy, one of our clients, and he just made a bold move. I'm going to be as vague as I can, so I don't share his business, but he just made a really bold move. And I was talking to him about this, and I was saying, what your problem is this is just too awesome, what's about to happen to you. And he was like, I'm like, I said, and this happens to us all the time. And V, you'll probably be able to pick up on the kind of problem I'm talking about, where we have somebody who's in process of doing this or that, and halfway through they just freak out and say, let's stop. And we're like, what do you mean let's stop? You're having incredible success. You're all these amazing things are happening for you. And people have this weird reaction to success. They have this weird reaction when money's coming to them, where they say, oh, I better stop. I better not have this much money. I better not have this much success. I better not follow through with this process that's going to set me free. And, we do a bunch of different things that facilitate that in people's lives. And it's the weirdest thing how people will just throw their hands up and say, yeah, this is not for me, because my perception is if there's too much success, if there's too much money, if there's too much winning, I've got to throw my hands up and say, stop, because something must be wrong or something is about to go wrong. Yep. And it's funny. Part of our job has become calling up guys and giving them pep talks. Yeah, that they should continue with what they're doing and continue to succeed.
And be bold, man. It's you gotta grab. I mean, you gotta literally grab life by the balls. There's no other way I can tell you guys. Either life is gonna grab you by the balls, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You know
squeeze.
Exactly what I'm talking about. It's gonna squeeze it's either. Life's going to grab you by the balls, or you're going to grab life by the balls. But somebody's balls are going to get grabbed. Okay? Somebody's balls are going to get grabbed. And at the end of the day, it's this, man. Either you're going to be a victim or a victor. You can't be both. Either you're going to be powerful or pitiful. You can't be both. That's a choice you all have to make. And it's never, and I love what Tony Robbins says, it's never lack of resources. It's always lack of resourcefulness. Okay, and that's the deal. I mean, I look at the news headlines today, like, oh, the Turkish lira, it's going up. It's emulating like a Christmas tree set on fire. Well, there's a lot of fear there. Well, how do you translate the fear to success? How do you translate the news that's going around you, where it seems like everything around you is smoldering inferno? And then you're in the middle of this whole entire smoldering inferno. You're totally, totally calm.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be totally calm, because you got to understand that see, folks, once your brain is awake, and I'm not talking about, I'm woke because I knew that 9/11 is an inside job. Good for you. Yeah. But do you know how to play the game?
Yeah, what happens on our webinars where someone says, you can't, that's nice, guys, but you can't beat the high frequency traders.
You can't beat the high frequency traders. That's nice, guys. You can't beat them. We beat them every single day. How do we do it?
Rigged system,
how do
guys.
We do it?
You can't trade. You can't win. Okay, sorry. I guess we'll stop.
It's this milquetoast defeatist attitude that people have. It's disgusting. And
may I say something there?
Go ahead, bro, because we're not trying to beat those high-frequency traders. We're trying to pickpocket them. Go ahead, man.
Okay, they're saying you can't beat the high-frequency traders.
Mm-hmm.
Then why don't you sign up? What do you think I was when I was on the street? That's exactly what I was.
HFT, baby.
How many times do I have to say it? I designed systems to extract monies out of the markets for wealthy clients. That was my title. Mm-hmm. What do you think those systems were?
Mm-hmm. That's great. We've got some hilarious people in the comments too.
So you can't be high frequency traders. That's what I was. What are you talking
I'm not trying to
about?
beat them.
You're right. You can't beat me. So join me.
Join.
You're right.
Yes,
You can't.
I would do a
Join me.
show in the UK. Just to email me v@roguenews.com, v@roguenews.com. I will do a show in the UK. I love the UK. Let's do it.
We were doing high frequency trading before it was even called high frequency trading because there was no internet. All right.
Wow.
I ran the pilot program for the PATS system that was imported here from the UK.
Really?
I was one of the first people to use that device to route orders directly to the trading floor from my desk.
That's nuts, man.
All right. That's my background. All right. So don't tell me about high frequency trading when we created it. All right. Before you even knew what Globex was, when they were still building it out, going back to 1987. What do you think? How many times do we have to explain to people who they dealing with? All right, I showed you my resume. Go and look at my YouTube channel, Algo Capitalist. Remember the whole debacle with what is it? Man Global or whatever that MF Global.
Global, baby.
All right.
Anybody who invests in MF Global, I mean that name alone, MF Global.
I broke that down to everybody when it came out because the truth was not getting out. I had to expose it. MF Global was the company that brought the PAT system to the US. MF Global was our clearing firm.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Yeah. I knew they had people over there. All right. And some of those people there were really good people. Okay. So don't tell me that you can't beat the high frequency trade. What do you think we were doing? We did some sick stuff back then. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to get a book. And the book is called Rogue Trader. You need to get that because it talks about how Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and all the big wirehouses on Wall Street, how they built and designed these destructive financial instruments to rip people's face off on purpose and bring down countries. All the big financial crises you heard of in the past, they were a part of it. How do you think they did it? All right. So high frequency trading is just a new terminology they put on things, but that's always existed. All right. We are the ones that laid the foundation to get it to where it is today. And the majority of those high frequency trading outfits are not making money. You just need to understand that. All right. The only people that make money consistently are the ones that control the platforms. That's why Goldman Sachs and them, remember a few years ago, that's like they had a perfect trading record. They won like 5 million trades in a row. See, look at this. Because they control the platforms. The person that controls the platforms can what they call bust trades. That means every losing trade they have, they can just bust it or erase it like it didn't happen and say, oops.
Wow.
Yeah, most people don't know that. The bond pits can do the same thing. That's what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they do the same thing. They're allowed, they control the bond pit. So if they have a bad trade or a bad day, they can just erase it and say it never happened. Because they own and run the platform. That's what I was trying to tell people. We've been on digital currency and stuff, for a long time without people realizing it. That's how they're able to erase things. You push a button and you say it never happened. And then you make all of your affiliates push the shame button and they erase their stuff too. And when it's not on the server, it didn't happen. It doesn't exist. It's like 9/11. 9/11's trading does not exist. You can't find it anywhere. You can't even buy the data. They erased it. They made all the outfits erase it. It does not exist. The only place it exists is in people's memories, like myself, who was there, who was trading. And I can tell you exactly what the prices were because I was there. So
I know one place where it exists.
Where's that?
The DTCC. The records of that day have been transferred there. The real records of that day.
I don't doubt that. Yep. But they don't have it available for retail.
Never. You'll never see that ever again.
Yeah. You'll never see that.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
What is talking about?
The trades on 9/11, man.
Yeah, and just this whole high frequency trading thing. I'm just trying to explain all that to everybody how it worked. For more information on this whole thing, go to my channel. Look at the the documentary series I did on the MF Global thing. I broke down a lot of stuff to you. I sold you their jacket at the NFA's website. The jacket is what associated people on Wall Street have when they have the securities license. Called they give you a jacket, and inside the jacket it has your background, any any infractions, any arbitrations, if you got penalized or kicked out of the financial industry, banned for life, all that stuff is on there. If you've ever been sued or accused of malfeasance or manipulation or embezzlement or any of those things, all that is in your jacket. And the NFA keeps it for life. It does not ever go off the website. If you've had a Series 3 or anything associated in the futures and commodities markets, it's there for life. Unlike the stock market, the National Association of Securities Dealers only keeps their data for 10 years. So if you've been away from Wall Street more than 10 years, there's no way you'd be able to prove it because their site will delete your file after 10 years. Whereas the NFA, they never delete. So you can go and look at MF Global's jacket to this day. It's still on there.
There goes my stint at Bear Stearns.
Yeah, Bear Stearns. Yeah, anyone said, "Oh, I worked at Bear Stearns."
I worked at Bear Stearns.
It's not on there. You can't prove it.
Spelled B-A-R-E, Bear Stearns, not the other Bear Stearns. It's different. It's a prop trader.
So anyway, I had to throw that out there, man. So you're right. You can't beat them. So you might as well come over here and watch us trade and join them. If you want to know how to do this the right way.
You got to click the link in the description and be on the webinar.
Join the webinar, man. Join the webinar. Make it happen for yourself. I mean, the whole entire thing, the Turkish lira getting smashed, the market jitters, all the crap, all the caca news that's out there in the bond market. What's happening, guys? What's happening? Well, here it is. You're going to have a little bit of pullbacks here and there. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it at the institutional level, even in cryptos. When I'm seeing like Wall Street institutions coming in here and just swapping it up, I'm like, I got to show this. Watch this, guys. Check this out. I got an international order from an institution in overseas. I'm going to show you guys something real cool. Watch this. Watch this. All right, watch this. There we go. Where is it? Where is it? Boom, 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 boom. Blow it up on the screen. I'm gonna open it up. It's all good. They don't mind if I do this.
I don't see a thing.
Okay, watch. Hold on. I'm about to show y'all. When you got large institutions, right? This is an institution out from Asia who's contacting me to get some cryptos, and we're in the process of getting things set up for them. Look how much money they got sitting in this account, man. Watch this. Bam. 120 million euros. That's in euros. That's a euro account. 120 million euros sitting there. Going where? They want to get what? Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
That's insane.
Okay. So if the heavyweights are in it, what do they know that you don't know? What do they know that exactly? What do you think they know? Some of the smartest people in the room, some of the smartest people in the world, with real capital, the real good old boys club, the billionaires clubs, right? What do those guys know that the conspiratard radio and conspiratard websites are telling the market's going to crash tomorrow and it's all for naught? What do you think they know that those guys don't? Who's telling the truth here? Right? Who's telling the truth?
The proof is in the pudding.
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's be honest.
Proof's in the pudding, man.
And I was told I was a liar because there was no institutional money coming in there, and it's the blockchain, and it's this, and it's that, and here we are now, months later, talking about institutional money.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of institutional money, man. Plenty.
I gave up giving breaking news because people don't believe me when I say things. Until it happens and it's in the mainstream.
Here's some more institutional money. Look at this. Look at this institutional money. Look at that. Oh yeah. Lots of it going on. Going where?
Yep.
Going into alternative asset classes.
Yep.
Begging to get into them. They can't even find the way to get in.
Exactly.
See, the thing is that people don't understand too is that It's a market, you guys, and that means it's considered it's being considered as an asset. You know, technically speaking, an asset is anything that is increasing in value that's paying you money. A liability is something you have to write a check for every month.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
like
so
stupid home ownership.
there you go. But you know, cryptos is considered an asset. Want to know why? Because the price fluctuates, and if the price fluctuates in your favor, you're making money. It's an asset, just like gold and silver. But some assets take on dual characteristics, like gold and silver. Those are assets, but they're also commodities, so they take on dual purposes, and they do have some alternative purposes. So anything with an alternative purpose is definitely going to be marketable and tradable. So you have you know, more than one purpose for your gold and your silver. They're considered money, they're considered assets, but they're also considered commodities. So cryptos are the same thing, even though it's in a digital form, it's still considered money. It's still considered an asset because the price does fluctuate, and it is tradable. All right, and it is what's the word I'm looking for? It can be settled in cash. So there you have it. So to not operate in the market just because you don't necessarily believe in it, you're limiting yourself another investment opportunity. When I say investment, I don't mean buy and hold and pray. I mean buy, and when the price increases, sell it and take the profit. That's what I'm talking about. We don't care about all this geopolitical stuff. We're not ignorant to it, as we've disclosed in this broadcast, but we don't care. We don't look at that. We're looking at what is the price, where is it going, how can I profit from it? That's how you do it. That's where you go. And you know, you don't have to be afraid. You can learn how to do these things. And I'll be honest with you folks, you know, the United States has done everything in its power to make it very difficult, if not impossible, for the little guy to get into the markets. Why do you think the cryptos were created? To give the power back to the people.
Correct.
All right, you can go into the cryptos without a whole lot of foolishness and roadblocks. I can't say the same for stocks. They have all types of roadblocks up for you on the stocks, even to the point where they tell you how and when you can trade the stocks.
Yep.
You don't have those problems with cryptos.
Yeah.
You can buy any crypto you want anytime you want. Even with micro forex. Micro forex allows you to go long or short anytime you feel like it. And you don't have no uptick rule. You don't have a pattern day trade rule. So there are great things that, you know, cryptos and the micro forex and commodity futures markets offer you. No uptick rule. You don't have to worry about earnings reports coming out. That has nothing to do with that. All right. So these things aren't going anywhere. All right. The micro forex market's not going anywhere. The crypto markets, they're not going anywhere. Commodity futures markets are not going anywhere. So just remember that. All right.
Absolutely.
Don't be left out in the cold.
Yeah.
Even if you work at McDonald's,
Yeah.
you can afford to trade cryptos.
What have I been saying? I've been saying, because everybody's all excited about Forex right now because we've been teaching everybody in the room about that. But what do I keep saying, Dex? Don't sleep on cryptos.
Yes.
Forex is easier to set up for a small account anyway. If you want to just, you know, you can fund an account with a debit card and be trading in an hour, you know?
Right.
But and so, you know, for a lot of people, the cryptos, it's a bit of learning. You know, I was talking to a very bright guy yesterday, and he's like, "There's a wallet. Where? A wallet?" You know, like he just couldn't get his head around how these things move around the internet because he's new to it. And I remember 100% having the same confusion a few years ago. And so sometimes people will look at it and say, "Oh, you know, okay, I'm going to trade this Forex thing. It's easier." And absolutely, you should get started. But man, the don't sleep on the cryptos. You got to get in there. You got to get started with it. And one of the things we do, all of our members have access to our beginner crypto class. So if you want to come in and start trading, if you want to trade really, really quickly, I think Forex is the way to get started real quick. Like you could join our room and be trading Forex by the end of the day. Yep. But that said, we include for free a $300 crypto beginner class for free. And when I say $300, we've actually sold it hundreds of times for $300. So, you know, all marketers say this is a $5,000 value. No, we really sold this $300 class hundreds and hundreds of times. So we have that available for anybody who joins watchestrade.io, where you could just sit and take your time with that crypto class and get it. Well, it's in the comments, Jay saying, well, it's free. It's free with your membership.
There you go.
Which is not free.
Oh, and there's also crypto. Don't forget, we not only the crypto class, but there's also Forex learning material.
Mm-hmm.
We have learning materials on how to trade equities, how to trade commodity futures.
Yeah.
And also we threw in the bonus study course. My original study course
All of it
is in there also for free, almost a 200-page learning tool that I sold also. I used to sell, and I sold a lot of those, but now we give it away for free with membership.
Hey V, can I share my screen? I'll show them.
Yeah, sure.
I'll show them what we do. Yeah, we have a. Let me make sure I share the right screen here.
Good.
We have so many tools, you guys. Goodness.
Yeah, we do, man. We're the most thorough trading room in the world, and I think I've been called in no time we'll be the largest trading room in the world.
Yeah, this is the What members site. This is not where you sign up. If you go here, you're just going to get a password protected page. But in addition to DEX's full library of educational materials, we have this site that only members of our room have the password to.
There you go.
It has I mean, we're so thorough about this. There's literally a video about how to use this site full of videos. Look, it's right here. Watch how to use this website.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, and then we have our Forex quick start guide. We have things like the Forex cheat sheet, where while you're trading Forex, you can look at our rules and our stop and how to use stop losses and all of that stuff. And then something that we made recently available for Watch As Trade members is the core curriculum for crypto noobs. And it literally shows you like which wallet to use and how to use Coinbase and stuff like that. So this is like really, really, yeah, you could easily justify joining Watch As Trade just to get a look at the education materials. Easily justified.
And that crypto thing that we put together is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really
There's
good.
A lot of information in there, you guys.
And then not only do we have a crypto beginner class, but then we have the crypto trading quick start guide. So you've got the class for those of you who like don't even know what a wallet is. You can do that. But then we have how to use the call sheets and how to place the orders, how to use how to move your stop losses once you're in a trade, how to use 2-bar Charlie, which is DEX's method for setting stop losses, which is really awesome. So all of that stuff is here for people who join. And this is the thing. I think this is one of the ways that we became the Avengers when we joined up with DEX. Okay. Is we took our I mean, DEX is already a great educator, don't get me wrong, but we took all of his educational materials and then started producing new ones together and started putting it in just simple to follow and simple to find packages. And so I think that's where we kind of are kind of a great team.
A marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, man. And we're really enjoying it. So, and from what I can tell, our members are enjoying it too. So we'd love to have you. But anyway, more than anything, we want to inspire you today, because
absolutely,
it's that's the thing. You're not gonna be able to enjoy anything if you don't have things going. Great comments today. I'm in here.
Yeah. People are listening because they know. That's another thing too. You know, our listeners are the brightest people on the planet anyway, so they already know what's what. They already know. They already know what time it is. And absolutely. I'll be honest with you guys. Some people, you know, they say, "Oh, I can't afford that." That is cheap. I've seen courses out here. I've seen trade rooms to this day that are $4,000 a month. I'm not kidding. $4,000 a month, and all they do is Forex.
Mm-hmm. They
don't do stocks, futures, Forex, and crypto like we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's just Forex, folks. So yeah.
Without getting into too much of a commercial, I like to talk about this because I'm just really excited about it. The thing that's amazing about what you do, Dex, is you know, I've been involved in other trading rooms, and they basically hunt for a few entries here and there every day, right? So it's like, hey, we're going to get into this, we're going to get into that, we're going to get into this. DEX produces 3 reports. Right now we do 3 reports every night: a equities report, a Forex report, and a crypto report. And so depending on what you're into, you could look at that report and adjust or place new orders every single night. And so you're not sitting around hoping that DEX is watching the right charts and has some inspiration. You get that information in full every weeknight, every night, Sunday through Thursday night. And then we get the people who say, well, I don't know if I've got time for this. I'm doing an experiment right now where I'm trading a thing called the weekly sheet, which is you can literally take that sheet and just trade just that one sheet all week, which means my orders are already placed. I'm doing it for cryptos right now, and I'm actually killing it in cryptos using the weekly sheet. So if you're the type of person who says and we've had these people who were in our room in the past when our style was more of a day trading style, where they say, I just don't got time for this. I really need it to be about 15 minutes a day. Well, when it comes to like my Forex, I'm on top of my Forex all the time because I'm obsessed, but you don't have to be like that. But with the cryptos, I'm using the weekly sheet right now. I literally set these trades on Sunday, and 2 of them popped up today or last night, and both of them are in nice profit. And so there's 2 profitable trades from something I did on Sunday night, and all I'm doing is checking them every once in a while and moving the stop losses. So that dream of 15-minute a day trades, our man Dex has made that very, very real for people who want to do it that way.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that you took a sheet that you got on Sunday that predicted in advance, 48 hours in advance, where the profit was going to be found in the market.
Yeah.
Put you in that profit for something that you did 48 hours earlier. So you have a predictive tool in your pocket.
Well, not in my pocket because I lit it on fire because of the witchcraft. But and my mom's coming over to pray over it. But other than that, yes.
So you're trading to another level. You were day trading. Now you're taking.
I wasn't, because I ran out. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time.
So you got high frequency trading put on a higher time frame in advance of the market moving there. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
Hey, well, we're doing this our webinar this week. Link is in the description. If you guys have already been there, you can always just go to watchthistrade.io and join us and check out that stuff. Hey, I want to know. I got a question for the
make it quick
for the chat room. For the chat room. You guys, would you guys be interested in learning about how to fund accounts and stuff like that? Let us know in the comments in the chat. We've been thinking about doing a webinar on just the nuts and bolts of funding and setting up accounts and stuff like that. So,
and folks, let me also just chime in there real quick. When we do accounts for like funding, there's also a reason why Frank and we also set up what's called asset protection.
Yeah, it's all part of it. It's also part of it.
It's also a part of it. You know what that is? That's your safety net, baby. God forbid, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's all I'm saying. God forbid something would have happened. You can't pay your loans back. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm just saying. Because these things happen.
Yeah, you want to be protected. You know, we believe in you. We think you're going to have amazing gains. But listen, you know, do you think Trump, when he was building his fortune, always used his own money and risked his own livelihood when he was trading?
No.
He never used his own money. As a matter of fact,
use other people's money.
Started with his own money.
Exactly. Yep. Use other people's money. And this and people think, oh well, I don't have any investors or anything like that. Well, you can tap the system to get money and then loan it to your company and let your company trade.
Yep.
And be set up in such a way that if things go south, you're taken care of. You don't have to worry about yourself. So you know, just keep that in mind. That's what people who take those big leaps do. They don't say, hey, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself in risk of being homeless a year from now and see if I hit it big on the stock market. No one does that. I mean, somebody does it, but they're homeless now. They're in Seattle, pooping on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
Don't get me. I watched this documentary about Seattle.
Seattle dying?
Yes.
I was in the middle of watching it before the show.
Dude, I watched it last night, and I
Dude,
was
it's
like, I can't.
It is a textbook study of what happens when you have Democrats running
Socialism.
the show.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta love it.
this. Here's socialism. Here's not only socialism, not just socialism, because socialism will also put a bullet in your head if you're homeless. This is socialism plus this weird, cuddly equality of outcomes. Never judge anything. Never enforce a law. It's this sort of anarchistic socialism that just allows everything to fall into chaos all the time.
I love it.
So it's a weird brand.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is this on Netflix or something?
No, it's on YouTube.
It popped up on YouTube
Seattle
for me
dying.
last night. Yeah,
Just go-
Seattle
just-
dying.
Just type it into the search bar. Seattle dying. You'll see it.
We should
Seattle
all
dying,
watch it and
okay.
do a show about it. We should just do a
Yeah.
show about it and play clips and talk about it. It's amazing.
Wow.
You got to watch it, folks. It's the most eye-opening thing. They have people, and you can tell. Okay, I live in a liberal town. You know what they look like. You know, the short, gray-haired.
Frank's friends with Rosie O'Donnell.
Stop.
Dirty little secret.
She's a very nice lady. So, and we're acquaintances.
She's a very nice lady. She's clueless.
She's hilarious. Yeah.
But she's a very nice one. Frank.
But here's the thing. I'm watching. They're doing a town hall during this documentary. They're doing a town hall, and you see all the people in the town. And I mean, just judging by the fact that it's Seattle, what are the chances that these people didn't vote for the people they're screaming at, right? And they're begging them. They're begging them to just let the cops enforce the law. They're like, please let the cops enforce the law so that my children don't have to dodge needles and poop walking down the sidewalk. And the politicians just don't even know what to say. And they have cops on there who literally just retired because they weren't allowed to enforce the law anymore. One
I'm
cop
watching that today.
one cop. One of the cops had an RV that had no motor in it towed away. He had it towed off of a street. A guy was living in a motorless RV on the street, and he had it towed, and he got in trouble for it. And that's when he said, "Forget it. I can't do this anymore." And he quit.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
But see, it's funny you said that because, again, this just shows you the power also of truth, because the Bible, which is God's word, says that the rich hate the poor. And that's exactly what you see when you see things like that. So it's like, truth becoming reality.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing.
Yep.
So
all right, guys, thanks for listening in.
Thanks, man.
We'll be back tomorrow. Join the seminar, guys. Sign up already. Get over there. I had like 150 some odd people on this live thing, even with all the suppression with YouTube. I expect 150 people in that webinar on Friday.
You all better be there. We'll find you.
I expect 50 of you listening to this voice right now to sign up to the Watch and Trade Room. I expect that 50 of you to go forth and be epic and kick ass and take names and make yourselves a good bunch of money. Learn how to trade and set yourselves free. That's it. Very low expectations. With that being said, I'm over and out. We're out, guys. Cheers.
Peace.